three. 1, 2, 3.
That good?
Okay, kick it downstage. Yeah.
My name is Irene Erkenbrack, and I'm here with my colleagues at the Commonweal Theater Company in Lanesboro, Minnesota. We are a resident, professional, nonprofit theater company here in Lanesboro, which is a town of 788 people.
Anyone who works here, it's a full-time job. Many of the members here, most of the members are resident company members.
College Campus Rotary Club.
It's an artist and administrator model. So if you're acting in the shows, you're also helping run the theater. I'm an apprentice, so I'm acting up on stage, but I'm also interning within the other administrative aspects of the theater, such as marketing, development, and production.
I am originally from Honey Creek, Iowa, which is a town even smaller than Lanesboro. I went to school in St. Paul, Minnesota, and I was a theater major. And then I came here because being in Minnesota, I heard about this theater.
I'm originally from Cannon Falls, Minnesota, so, you know, kind of a small town Minnesota boy. I went to school up in Superior, Wisconsin. After that, kind of toured around doing children's theater. Moved to Chicago, did some theater down there. Ended up taking a $50 bus ride down to Memphis, Tennessee, where there was a giant unified audition where Hal Cropp, the executive director of the company, saw me, invited me to be a part of the apprenticeship.
He's gonna turn you in. They're gonna put you in jail. He's USDA prime, all set for supper time.
I grew up in Bourbonnais, Illinois, and then I went to school in Peoria, Illinois at Bradley University. After I graduated, I toured around in small town Minnesota doing children's theater, and then moved to Chicago to be with my fiance at the time, Daniel, and then he moved up here to work at the Commonweal. And then a year later, I came along and I accepted an apprenticeship.
I grew up in Pella, Iowa, which is about 4 hours south of here. And I did an internship with the Commonweal Theater while I was a college student. And then I left the Midwest for a couple of years and did some other things.
As the plants proceeded to grow and grow and begin what they came here.
And just kept coming back to the Commonweal. I was offered to do a show here and do a show there, and then was offered a one-year position full-time that has since blossomed into me being a resident company member here. So I've kind of put down roots.
Well, I grew up in a larger town, but something that it has taught me is that just to be open to different possibilities. I mean, I could see myself doing a number of things, going to grad school, going to New York, living abroad, but really what I've learned is just to be open to anything and to expect the unexpected. Something else that I've learned is as important as the future is at our age, it's also important to really enjoy the present. Because right now I know that I'm working at a place that I love, and I'm working with people that I really care about. And I think as a young person, that's a good thing to know.
The idea of being in a place like this and having my life be able to be in the theater, that's a huge thing for an artist, is just to be able to say you have a full-time job in the theater, and that's a really, really huge blessing.
Really, everyone is just part of the same community. And I remember when I first came here, and I was in Metamorphoses, the first show I appeared in here at the Commonweal. I was just walking on the trail, and like 3 different people stopped me, and they knew my name already, and they were like, "Oh, we saw this show last weekend, we really enjoyed it." And then I talked to them, and hey, they just lived down the street from me.
You walk down the street and you know everyone, and you say, "Oh, hi Lynn, how are you? Hi David, how are you?" And you just, it's a really nice thing for an artist, because often you're thrust into such a giant boiling pot that you never get to really meet people and make connections that last for any meaningful length of time. But because we're in such a small town, and because we have a resident ensemble-based theater, you get to form those lasting bonds. You get to form lasting friendships.
Actually, part of the mission statement of the Commonweal Theater is to enrich the common good. It's kind of what we're all about. And we all kind of work together. The Lanesboro Chamber of Commerce is really good about getting us all connected and working together. So Lanesboro is a tourist destination, but it's not just the theater that helps make that so. We have the bike trails, which are some of the best in the state. And Lanesboro is actually the bed and breakfast capital of Minnesota. And there's lots of outdoor activities in the summertime. So there's several different components that all work together to help bring people to the area.
You learn how to work together with members of the community. For instance, if I'm at the coffee shop and things are busy and I have to wait a little bit longer to my coffee, I completely understand that, you know, among the employees there. Whereas back in the suburb of Chicago, you know, if things were taking too long, people would be complaining, people would be crass, and people would be yelling at each other. So it's just as a young person, you learn in a small town how to treat people well and how to have empathy and how to forgive people. And it's certainly present here in this theater. There's not a lot of ego in this theater. People take ownership and people work together.
There's just something really, it's a home. You can really find a home in a small town like Lanesboro that is really not something you can find in another place, in a city.